and we're going to start right out with Kim Jess, and with her she's brought Madeline Feston and Michelle Clarkin, right? Michelle Clarkin is in the middle, and you are, of course, Madeline. What was it like? How did you find out about Be Kind to Animals?
Well, our teacher is, well, that's her mom, and so.
Isn't that an incredible thing? Although it had nothing to do with selections or anything. Go ahead.
Well, she encouraged us all to do an essay, and so.
So you did it?
Yeah.
And how did you prepare? How did you prepare for it?
Oh, well, she gave us a date when to have the essay due, and when we handed it in, we just gave it to her.
Okay, that was it. So you didn't like look in the books or go on the internet, or you just had it up here what you wanted to write?
Well, we had a writing sheet to write some things down, what we want to have in our essay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, so that was a good way to learn how to write an essay, not only for this, but for other things that you may have to write, because you're going to have to write a lot of essays before you get out of school, believe me. Kim, how many contestants did you have?
We had over 800 this year, and you know, every year we come on with some of the contest winners, and this contest just grows and grows. It's our 10th year, and we even had some participants from as far away as San Antonio, Texas enter this year, which was really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If they had won, they'd have had to.
I know. That would have been.
We'd have had to figure out how to get them here, right? But that's good. No, that's good, because it's a good way for kids to learn how to participate in some of these wonderful events. And you're going to read yours first, Madeline. Okay. What's the title of your essay?
Oreos in the box.
Oreos in the box. Well, that has me thinking. Is this about a black and white kitty or a dog? Well, anyway, I'm going to let you tell us. Go ahead and read it.
Fur. I felt the fur of my brothers in the side of a small cardboard box. I couldn't move anything, and I could barely breathe. It was dark, and almost nothing was visible. I could hear the sound of something whizzing by. We had been thrown out of one of those while it was moving. I remember a draft coming through the cracks of the box with a little light. One of the only things I could see was my two brothers, and we all looked almost exactly alike. The only warmth was from our bodies. Something smelled terrible, like smoke. I wanted to feel the rough tongue of my mother against my grimy fur. I was very young. I didn't know my age, but I knew I still needed my mother. I wanted her milk, her warmth, even her scolds when we strayed too far. There was no food, water, and it was very unsanitary. I tried grooming myself, copying what I had seen my mother do. Once I was done, I groomed my brother closest to me and got a purr of thanks in return. Suddenly, the top of the box opened. Above us peered down a kind-looking woman. She looked much nicer than the first human I met. She picked each of us up and put us in a bigger, cleaner, and softer box. She reached in with 3 nipples, and we all suckled on one. Milk came out, not quite as warm as our mother's, but it was a relief after how long we went without any milk. Now, I could tell you every detail, but then I might need a lot more paper, and you'd be reading this for hours. So I'll get to the point. This woman, who turned out to be named Ashley, took us to our house, which is basically a very large shelter. She bottle fed us before we were old enough to eat solid food. She gave us all separate names. My name is Chocolate Melt, and my brothers are Cookies and Milk. When she calls all of us, she says, "Oreos, come here," because of our black and white coloring. Now I look back on the time I spent before I was in the box. Our other owner had taken us from her mother, stuck us in a box, and threw us out of a moving car. What our old owner did was mean and cruel. If I could talk, I would tell Ashley everything that happened. Now Ashley has given us everything we could ever want. She gives us love, food, and a warm place to sleep. Whenever I look back on the time I spent with our old owner, I think it is just as mean to bully animals as it is to bully other people.
Oh, I love that. That's bringing tears to my eyes, because it's just so awful.
Well, the theme this year was "Don't be a bully. It's cool to be kind to animals." So, I mean, these essays have impressed us because they are seen through the eyes of animals
I love
perhaps
that.
have been abused.
That was I can see why that was one of the winners.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you? You got one for us now?
Yeah, it's called A Long Journey.
Okay.
I look around and don't get why I'm here. I didn't deserve this. I'm just an average cat. I'm Callie the cat living on Bernard Street in New Jersey, and I don't want to view myself as the cat that was unwanted. I look back in my life and don't get how it's gotten to this point, that I'm begging for food and trying to picture a good life ahead. I used to live with a family, and they were great and all, but they just didn't know how to take care of animals. I remember the day when they decided to make me live on the streets. It was a bright day, the sun was out, it felt like the whole world was shining. When I woke up, my master was crying. I didn't know why. When I went to comfort her, she started talking to me and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't want it to end like this." She picked me up. I felt like I had a sixth sense that day. I knew something terrible was going to happen. I just didn't know what. She brought me outside and threw me on the ground. I felt worthless. I didn't know what to do. I was all alone without food or water. I still feel some sort of envy for my old master. I know it is good to let go sometimes. I keep telling myself to let go and forgive, but it is so hard. I walked for miles, dragging my feet, trying to tell myself that I will be safe sometime soon. I never was safe because I was a cat that was all alone on the streets. I could have been killed. I got some food on the way. It was just a piece of hot dog. At least it was something to keep my stomach from hurting all day. As the sun came down, I stopped on the highway. I bent down and fell from exhaustion. I went into a deep sleep. When I woke up, I got on the move and made my way off the highway. There was something that made this day feel special. Maybe it was the way the light shined on my fur, or maybe the way the wind blew. It just felt special. I walked a little farther and saw a sign. It was purple and white. It had big, bold letters on it, APF. I wondered what it might stand for. Maybe Animal Peace Foundation? Or maybe Animal Protection Foundation. Yes, that's it. I made my way over to the door and waited. I felt a clock ticking in my mind. Tick, tock, tick, and tock. I stayed there waiting. It felt like 10 minutes waiting. Suddenly, a man came out of the door. He had piercing eyes, a pointed nose, and had a face full of freckles. He picked me up and he sympathetically said, "I don't know what happened to you, but I will take good care of you. I promise you will never be in harm again." Now here I am with countless food and water. I've been visited by many people, but I'm still waiting to get adopted. It is April 3rd, 2012, and I'm still waiting to be adopted. I've been here for 3 months and am 1 year old. I've had a long journey and still know it's not over yet.
Oh. Wow.
Isn't it awesome? I know.
If a cat could talk,
Yeah.
this is how they'd talk. This is wonderful. I'm crying a
Yeah,
little bit.
I
so.
know. They're
Anyway, it's just not only that, but to hear these young women write so beautifully, I can
Yes.
see why they won.
Yeah.
And they must have an awesome teacher.
Yeah, they must. Absolutely.
So we want to congratulate you both for being here, and we'll see you next year with 2 more winners.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Kim, for being here from the Animal Protective Foundation. Be sure to go and adopt that cat that was brought in to the Animal Protective. And that's not the only one. There's plenty there for you to choose from. So I'm Ann Pearl, your host for Schenectady Today.